seen something like me.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Walking with Walfinch. I'm super excited today. We've got a gentleman here today who has been part of a transformational change in my own life.
Indeed, yeah.
We met, my hair was thicker, my beard was blacker. Ian Thompson, MD of Walfinch, Hertfordshire. How are you?
Indeed, very well, very well. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be involved.
I can't believe we haven't done this sooner.
I know. It's been a while. It's been in the diary for a while, but glad to be here.
Wonderful. One of our founding franchisees, Ian.
Yeah.
So tell me, who is Ian? You've had such a journey career-wise. I mean, where did it all start?
So it all started. So I worked in the city for a long time. I was in investment bank, a lawyer in the legal business initially, qualified as a lawyer. Then I was in investment banking for 12 years. And then coming up to 6 years ago, it's pretty much exactly 6 years ago, actually, was looking for a change, was sort of suggested by some people that home care could be something worth looking into. Did that digging and dealt with, spoke to a bunch of different providers, and then that's when our paths crossed, and that was it. So
met in that tiny office in West Hampstead.
Exactly,
with yourself and Amy, your wife.
Yeah, that was in lockdown. I remember speaking to Simon. We were, it was when you had one walk a day.
Yeah.
So part of one of my walks was speaking to Simon, and that was the beginning of it. So here we are.
I mean, and that. I remember thinking this at the time, well, you've been a lawyer, you've been a trader, how interesting. I mean, home care must have felt like an alien planet to you.
Completely, yeah. I had no understanding of the care side of the business at all. And, made a lot of mistakes, I'm sure, as a result. But you find your way, and it's a steep learning curve, but I know that the team, you guys and the team were very helpful. It was a different look team then. It was much smaller and more compact. But, we got up that learning curve, made hires in the right places. And, that was key to it. So, you get there, it can be a complex, it feels like it shouldn't be a complex thing, but regulation and dealing with councils, dealing with NHS, all of that. There's a lot to find your way around. That was a particularly steep learning curve for me, I think. But once you get there, it does start to fall into place eventually.
And that eventually is such a thing, isn't it? Because it's, for me, I always think there's so many people involved.
Yes.
If you think about all of the parties you just mentioned, and then the family and the specific members of the family, the carer's family.
Yeah.
There are just so many people and so many relationships and emotions that come into play, which I don't think people talk about.
No, indeed. And, that was one of the attractions for me, for sure. Having been trader, banking, it's pretty much devoid of those sorts of relationships. So that element was certainly a positive and something that I was looking for, but it is also a challenge for sure. Finding your way around those things. How do you deal with it? And again, you refine how you do things, procedures, and just get better at it over time.
Yeah, and what did everyone, your friends, your wife, your family, what do they think of it? They must have been like, what on earth?
Yeah, I mean, friends, especially particularly that I worked with, thought this is like so, off the wall, such a wild idea and such a massive change.
Yeah,
they just couldn't get their heads around it, to be honest. But it has, as people have seen the business that we've built, the lifestyle changes that have been possible because of it. They come around to it, and in fact, one of my university friends has recently bought a home care business in Kent. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
And established. He didn't, not starting from the bottom, but they bought it. So.
Wow.
So
is that taking some inspiration from yourself?
Well,
I imagine.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
We spoke about it. We've spoken about it a lot, and people hear what's possible, and from a business side, from a family life side, he has young kids as well. So, and I think there are definitely attractions for people in all sorts of other sectors and other businesses.
It's such an interesting point that you've just mentioned there. I wonder if you wouldn't mind just spending 2 minutes just talking about what a day looked like when you were a trader, and how often you saw your kids and all of that, as opposed to now.
Yeah. So it started very early. So I would be up. I got the 5:30 train.
You got to the 5:30 train.
Yeah.
Oof. Ouch.
Yeah. So be in the office for around 6:30, and then it was a hectic day, busy day. Generally, we'd leave. The one positive of trading is you generally leave on time. So you're leaving around 5:30, home for 6:30. Then I think it was different. Our kids were very young then, and so it was less of a difficulty. But where my current business has come into its own is as they've got older, and their interests have increased. And the time that that we put into those things has increased. I've been there to be able to do that. Whereas I think had that life as it is right now just wouldn't be possible. My wife is a lawyer. She's actually recently started her own business, but previously she was working in the city as well. And having two of us there, I just don't think it would be possible. So it's certainly, when you look back and see how different life would be, it's worlds apart for sure.
And typically, what does the day look like now? I mean, I appreciate
it's hard to say.
None of them are the same.
Yeah, it's hard to say. But so what I do always do is take the boys to school and take the dog for a walk. So I get to the office around 10ish, and then my diary is so short term. I don't have many things planned out in the future. It all kind of happens as the day unfolds. So it's hard to say, what happens from then on. But yeah, in the office around 10ish, and then I go and do the school run and go to football, rugby, whatever it is that day. And I can react. If it's sports day, then we go to sports day. We don't. I don't miss those things.
I mean. And it sounds like nothing, but it's everything, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
When you've got young children, you've got 3 boys.
3 boys, yeah.
How old are they?
They're 12, 11, and 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're sort of that much ahead of me. My eldest is 7, and we've got 3 as well. But I just often think about this, and I just think, I was asked this question, actually. I was in the States for the IFA convention, and someone on this podcast asked me a question. So what was... a moment that you can think of in franchising that you think, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I got to say, and I thought about it for a minute, I thought, we came over to your house about a couple of years ago, probably was.
Yeah.
And we're sort of filming and all of that. We just got the cameras in.
Yeah, we had the dog. The dog was going mad.
Yeah,
Luna.
And in between shots, your wife's walking through, grabbing a cup of tea or something, and she said, "Oh yeah, great having a business. I mean, our youngest would not be as good at football if it wasn't for Ian running his own business." And honestly, that was one of my favorite moments in franchising. Thinking, this is why we do it.
Yeah, completely different. You can mold it. If you want to be hands-on, if you're a very hands-on person, you can be very hands-on. If you don't want to be. You can mold it to your needs financially, time, family, whatever it is. It's you have that flexibility to make it what you want it to be.
And I think that's, for me, the really lovely thing, the ability to also just have the peaks and troughs. You can do more when you need to do more. And obviously there are times when it really sort of the doo-doo hits the fan and you need to roll your sleeves up and get stuck in harder than normal. But I think the lovely thing of having that work-life integration, I don't really believe in a balance personally, but I think having them integrated means that you can do both well.
Of course, and certain things adapt. Holidays. I don't generally go on holiday without being involved a little bit in some way, but it's never it's not in an intrusive way. It's, we need to do payroll or question on this or that. So I will frequently be involved, but not in a way that it's right. Drop everything. We've got to deal with this way, and that comes from the team. The team is it's everything really.
And
that's something that I learned the hard way in the early days.
And I've got to say, we can always edit this later if you want me to. And so, I just think I've watched you from the sidelines for years. And it's been a transformational shift in leadership and the skill around leadership. I think when you came in, and I was thinking, what's going on? I've got this, ex-trader donning a uniform on a weekend, and and so on, and which on one hand I'm thinking how wonderful. On the other hand, I'm thinking no.
And I was thinking exactly the same.
I bet.
Because I think the industry that I came from was kind of an individual's game. Trading is about individuals. There are not many people managing. I never managed a team. In my old line of work. So it's learning how to do that, delegation, accepting those costs. So cost obsessed in the early days. We can't spend on this person, but it just changes. It just changes everything when you put that investment in and learn how to manage the team rather than running around doing it yourself.
I think that's it. And learning how to do that, I think, is such a big job. It's really easy to say, leadership and management and people, but it means so much.
It's hard. Yeah, it is hard. There's such a balance to be found between you want to be good to people, you want to look after your staff, but you have to run the business as well. It's and I still have a long way to go with that for sure. But we're moving forward with that.
And that's the other thing that I think there's a willingness to learn. You invested a week at the Thrive Academy at the end of last year.
Yes.
It's a week away from family, kids.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, really good. Some really good speakers. Such a broad range of topics covered there, and certainly took a lot from it. I think sometimes stepping back from things and might feel like you're giving up time or whatever it is, but it's it's an investment just like anything else, just like a financial investment. Same thing. You get reward from it.
Yeah, it's so true, isn't it? It's I remember at our conference when Trevor Brocklebank was saying about the J curve.
Yeah.
And, when things really kind of hit the bottom, and then they go up, but you've got to keep investing in that and get the people before you need the people, and and it's a really scary thing to do in practice, isn't it?
I wish we'd had that talk had come maybe 4 years earlier. That would have saved me so much, nerve-shredding moments. But completely right. And you stumble into that with time. You stumble into that way of working, but it's a leap of faith a lot of the time.
It really is. I mean, I still find it now. And I've been self-employed since I was 22, but I'm just, and I was having a conversation yesterday on one of our level 10s of the senior team. We were talking about next big hire and so on. I'm like, well, we don't need it right now. And I'm like, no, but therefore we absolutely should jump right now. And so on. And it's so interesting when you start thinking about that and thinking, well, when you're advising, other people, whether it's home care franchisees or lawn care franchisees, I think it's always the same thing. It's hiring the right people earlier than you need them, and sort of embedding that piece. I think is
and they're difficult to find sometimes, the right people. So if you're in a situation where I need someone this month, it can be really tough. You may not find the right person in that time frame. So to do it where it's not a desperate situation, you take your time over it, you hopefully get the right person, and so much easier to get the right person first time round rather than backtracking and making those changes.
Yeah. And so you can tell me who sort of sits in your office at the moment, and in your care team. Like, what are the numbers of people, and what do they do?
Yeah. So we have our operations director, Sophia. She's called operations director, but she does so much operationally, HR wise. Has a real broad remit, and really makes things work. To be honest with you, she's a really key member of the team, oversees pretty much everything that's going on. She's heavily involved in our marketing, which is her background. So that works really well. And then we have our registered manager, Sue, very experienced, been in the care business a long time. And there's rarely a situation that we encounter that she hasn't seen before, that she doesn't know how to handle, which is such a, lets you sleep at night. Basically, that's
she's got a crystal ball.
That's the next person that you need. And then we have our care coordinator, looks after rota, managing staff. And then we have a care manager, which is a more field-based role, liaising with carers, liaising with families, clients, all of that kind of thing. And then we have our senior carers, team of senior carers, again, very experienced, field-based. They do some care, and then they manage the carers. So any concerns the carers have, they can go to them and talk things through. So, another really important role, and ensuring that carers are as well supported as they need to be, and just bringing that experience to the field. Something, we may have some carers who are not particularly experienced, and that sort of mentoring almost is really important for them.
And how many care workers on average?
We have about 30.
Great, yeah.
So, doing all sorts of different work patterns. We have some full-time, we have some doing part-time, we have some doing evenings only, weekends only. That's the beauty, I guess, of a career in care. You can do what works for you. If you can do a few hours a week, someone will want that. Someone will be looking for that, and it can work around what you're.
Which is great, actually. I mean, when we were talking earlier about how you can be flexible with your work, but then so can a care worker. And say, well, I want to do a school pickup. I want to be at home on Wednesday afternoon for, as we always used to say, the Tommy's football match. You can do that.
You can. Yes, it really does. There are demands on carers for sure. It's a demanding role, but one thing that you can manage is flexibility. And that's something you have to be able to give.
And
people.
Is there a certain background that you think care workers come from that you think, oh, that person's always very good? So either someone that's totally not from care, or from being a family carer, or
Not really. Not really. I mean, we have a real mixed bag. We have some carers who've been carers for years and years. Know exactly what they're doing. Know how everything works. Brilliant. We have others who've never been a carer before. I think sometimes those people can be some of the best carers because they are making a choice to come. They're making a choice to come into it. It's not it's a challenging role for sure, and they're aware of that and they choose to do it. So very often, I think those can make some of the best carers.
It's super interesting, isn't it? I mean, I sort of often go back to a person that used to work for me years and years ago. Her name was Debbie. And when she came in for an interview, I was like, oh, she doesn't drive and she's never been in care and she's got really fixed hours. Honestly, one of the best care workers I've ever worked with. And it was so interesting. I found it like an eye-opening moment, thinking anyone from anywhere that is just a really decent person wants to do it. Could be phenomenal.
Absolutely. Yeah, you cannot be too prescriptive about recruitment. Because firstly, recruitment is difficult. It's not getting the numbers that we need. It's not easy. But secondly, if you're setting these arbitrary filters, you're ruling out so many people who could do a fantastic job, and you get to know pretty quickly if they are going to do a fantastic job, and then give them the training, the guidance they need from there.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. And what about clients? Typically, do you have a certain type of client, age group, health background?
I mean, elderly care is our by far makes up the majority of our work. It's not all of our work by any means. So we have some clients with brain injury, with other ongoing issues that mean they require support. But the elderly side of things is our biggest sector, I would say. But then as far as the care that they receive, it's completely varied. We go from companionship, we have a couple of hours a week, or shopping trip a week, and then we have all the way through to 24-hour care, live-in care, and hospital discharges, post-operative care, things like that. So it's really varied, and your marketing has to reflect that. It's not just a single. You're not aiming at a single target audience. It has to be pretty broad.
Yeah, and you do a lot in the community as well. With the
we do.
and...
We do. We run our Thrive clubs, which have been a great success. And everyone loves going to from our staff. I mean, they love going to those. And it's just been a great way to just raise awareness of our business, give something back to the community, and just looking at it purely from as a marketing tool, it's been really successful. So we take a lot of, we receive a lot of leads now from those avenues, to the point where it's probably our biggest. The people that we come across there, and the professionals in particular that we come across there, is probably one of our biggest sources of leads right now.
It's really, I've always found that quite intriguing, because when I speak to colleagues in the sector, and everyone, it varies from the Mar and Par operation to private equity. And those two parties behave very differently. The guys over here are spending tens of thousands of pounds on advertising, in terms of digital advertising, but there's no relationship being built. Whereas the Mar and Par operation, I appreciate that they've got their other issues, but it's all relationships, and I think franchising kind of sits in the middle of that. And I think that's super interesting. When you think about the impact that relationships have, and we talk about this £1 million handshake, and really that's where it sits, right?
You want to try to be in that sweet spot between those two. Because they both have something really important to bring. The community side and the word of mouth marketing was a slow burner for us. So I would say, it's only in the last couple of years that's really become significant. But it is significant, and it's much less. When someone comes to you through a recommendation, they want you to work with you. It's not speculative or anything like that. So as a lead quality, it's a really good avenue. It's something that, as I say, it takes time, but once it's running and once things are going smoothly, it's a really powerful source of leads for us.
And when you sort of look ahead, you've been at this for 6 years. You've had one renewal, which is really cool. As well, you're one of our first renewals.
Indeed.
So that was good. We've now got a written process around that. So good. So what happens next? What does the next 5 years, 10 years, and beyond look like for you, for the business, for care?
Yeah, I mean, I think this, as a business, there's so much more growth potential for us. I don't think we are. I don't think we are everywhere geographically that we want to be, or not in, rather not as intensively as we want to be. We still have the vast majority of our business still comes from maybe 4 key areas. There are certainly others to grow into, that's target for the second half of the year, that we want to be expanding in a more methodical way into those areas. Kind of been a bit haphazard before. Maybe we have a client there and we build a bit of some other runs around it, but we're going to be much more methodical about that, and the way we approach that. So that's a key thing, and just to continue to grow as we have. The team, I think, is we've got a really strong, capable team, and I think they can, we can grow a lot further. God, 10 years is a long old time, but I'm very happy with where we are, with where I am, and I would say more of the same really would be the main goal.
No, it's a really wonderful thing. Also, from my perspective, I think when we first met, I was really confident in what we could do, but we hadn't done it at that point. And I think that together we've kind of created this wonderful model that has impacted so many lives. I mean, when
Yeah.
you think about not just franchisees, but all of the carers that work across all of the branches, all of the, the clients. And I just think that's so powerful when you kind of think back to 6 years of the lives that you've touched.
Yeah. No, I mean, the way everything from your side, from the support has changed, the investment that's gone into that. We have some really great people now who are experts in their field, and whatever when people come into franchising, I think they have a strength usually, whether it's a business strength or a care strength or a finance strength, whatever it is. But there are so many other parts to running a business, and the support is there to prop up whatever your weaknesses are. For me, it was care and the regulatory side of things. So that support was invaluable, and for other people it will be something different.
And if you could go back in time and tell Ian in 2021 or whatever, right, do this differently. What would that one thing be?
Invest in people earlier. Don't try and do it yourself, and don't try and cut corners on the people that you are investing in, particularly the first one or two. Get yourself into a position where you can hire really strong people, and your life will be infinitely better, and the financial impact won't be anything like, it will be the reverse, because you're going to have a much more successful business, and you'll be free to focus on the things that you need to be focusing on. That, without doubt, was my biggest mistake early on. And once you come around to that, once you realize that, it's like everything changes. For sure.
I think you're so right. I was delivering a talk, I think, at one of the care shows, and I was talking about A players, and someone said, "Oh, what is that?" And I was like, "Well, when someone comes in and gives me a resignation letter, and I'm like, thank God, this has saved me a conversation. That's a C player.
Exactly.
When someone comes in and hands a resignation letter, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be an awkward month. That's a B player. When someone comes in and says, I'm going, and you're thinking, my life has just ended, that is an A player. And I was like, they're the people you want to be surrounded with. They'll also hire A players. Right?
Yes, for sure. And as I say, it's nerve-wracking process to do that early on. You've started a business, you may be starting to make a little bit of money. For that to then start going out the door again, it's difficult, but it absolutely, you have to do it, unless you're one of these unknown people who are brilliant at all of those things and have unlimited time.
In which case, please phone us.
Exactly. You know where to call. But no, you just have you take the plunge and get things set up right, get the foundations right.
And Ian, thank you so much for taking the time out and coming out. I mean, I've really enjoyed having you on. It's very nice. It's almost always raining on Hampstead Heath. But I usually end these podcasts with one question, and that question is, if you were advising someone on how to make their first million in business or their next million in business, what one piece of advice would you give them?
It's a good question. I think you just have confidence in yourself. If you don't, it's such a massive leap to go into business on your own, particularly if that's not your background, if you've been an employee for a long time. But it is absolutely doable. And to make, you don't need to be the next Steve Jobs to make that happen. It doesn't need a spectacular business, spectacular idea, genuinely new idea. It can be done, and anyone, not anyone, but a lot more people can do it than they would believe. So that would be, I would say, just go out there and do it. And if you can get the right support around you, lower the risk associated with doing that, then do it.
That's an absolutely lovely one. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
See you soon. Right. And until next time, thank you very much for tuning in.
Thanks, Emma.